Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Nathan Fox. That's Ben Olson. We're the founders of LSATdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. We have an email here from Chef. The subject is, was making progress.
Okay. Hi, demons. I'm stuck and need your help. I started using the Demon in January after switching from another platform, following a poor performance on the November LSAT. Since then, I had been improving consistently on my practice tests, averaging about 10 to 15 points higher than my official score, which was a 142. Okay, so you're in the mid 150s on your practice tests. I really wish I had found you guys sooner and waited to take the test when I was ready. But now my practice test scores are dropping and I'm back in the 140 to 145 range. I don't know why. I like to think I'm using your techniques, slowing down, predicting answers, and focusing on accuracy over over quantity, but I'm not sure what else I can do. Any advice?
Shake it off. I mean, my guess is that this is small sample. I don't know how many tests have dropped back into the 140 to 145 range. It sounds like you were up into the 152 to 157 range, but like a couple data points in the 140 to 145 range doesn't really indicate that much to me.
Yeah.
I will say though, I would really want to put it back on Chef to say, the first question I would ask Chef, how many questions are you attempting per section?
Mm-hmm. Are you trying to do too much? Yeah.
I'm just guaranteeing that Chef's doing too many questions. You can't score in the 140s without doing too many questions. I mean, it's just not possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like to get to the 150s, all you have to do is basically get the first like 10 right.
Mm-hmm.
But so many people are going to do 20 questions and score 145.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, if you had just done half of that work, but gotten paid for the work you're doing, you wouldn't be scoring in the 140s anymore. So I know, Chef says he's doing it, but it's hard to do it our way and score that low.
Hey, and one thing too that Chef is doing is focusing on the scores. Yeah, I know it's hard to avoid focusing on the scores. When you get a 140 to 145, that sucks, and it might be a big red flag that you're doing something wrong. But don't talk about that. Just who cares what the score is? You did section, you did a score, you did questions, you got some wrong. Go look at them. Start figuring out, like, do they make sense now? If they don't, why not? If they do you know why they didn't make sense 5 minutes ago when you were doing the section? Just constantly come back to, what did I get wrong and why did I get it wrong?
Yeah. Are you learning from your mistakes? I think sometimes people think, I could just imagine, and I'm not saying you, Chef, but I could imagine other people getting happy about, hey, I've made it into the 150 range now, right? I have an official score on record 142. Wow, you never should have even taken the test.
Yeah.
But that's water under the bridge. What do we do moving forward? Okay, we start doing it the Demon way. We slow down. We focus on accuracy. We should start feeling that we're really understanding the test. But just because you've improved by 10 points doesn't mean that you're like some sort of LSAT badass. Yeah. There's a lot you're not understanding if you're scoring 152. There's a lot you're not understanding if you're scoring 157.
Yeah.
There's a lot you're not understanding if you're scoring 162 or 165. There's still so much that you're just not really understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be reading written explanations. You should be watching video explanations, and you should be using the ask button if necessary to let our team of tutors help get you unstuck. And those questions shouldn't be about your 120 to 180 LSAT score, because we can't help directly with that.
Mm-hmm.
We can only help your 120 to 180 LSAT score indirectly by helping on the individual mistakes you're making. So why, Chef, are you making these mistakes? I can tell you in advance that at least half of your mistakes are coming from misreading things. At least half, probably more than half, especially when you like drop down into the low 140s. You're just not understanding what you're reading. You got to recommit yourself to actually understanding one question at a time. Understand the record, understand the question they're asking you, understand how the answer you're about to pick really does answer that question based on that record. And if you just do it one at a time, then you're like solving the LSAT. And I promise your scores will follow. But it sounds like Chef might be a little guilty of doing the just pulling the slot machine lever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like take a test, then I didn't do as good. I'm going to take another test.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I still didn't do as good. Okay, I'm going to take another test. And it's like, meanwhile, hey, have you looked at your review inbox? Because you've got like these 50 questions that you've missed there that you haven't even reviewed.
Yeah, and you really shouldn't be doing full practice tests that often anyways. You should just mainly be doing time sections and drilling.
Especially at this level, right?
Yeah.
The only time we tell people like, okay, go ahead and do even as much as one full practice test a week, we would never advise that for anybody who's scoring even in the 160s. We'd be like,
maybe every other week. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If you're scoring 175 and you're making very few mistakes on every test, then okay, yeah, maybe you can afford to do a full test once a week.
But even then, you don't need to. It's not necessary.
And even then, you don't have to. Yeah. So I think Chef is like so focused on the end goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
That he's not doing the intermediate things that really are going to get him to that goal.
Agreed.
Anything more?
No.
Thanks, Chef. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you would like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.